Just join me if you'd like. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Our trials in this life appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind. Seeds for the sowing are laid in store. Nurtured in love and conscience refined. The body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall. The chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again.
Good morning. My name is Mel Fritchie, and I serve as president of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. I am delighted to welcome you all this morning, whether you are here at UUCS or joining us virtually. I see them waving back. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome, just as we each imperfectly are. If you are visiting with us this morning, we would love to meet you and share more about the life of this very vibrant congregation. Visitor cards may be found in the pocket on the back of the chair in front of you. Please feel welcome to fill one out and place it in the offering plate during the service so that we can connect with you. There are many important announcements on the sheets titled Connect at the back of your bulletin this morning. Please open your bulletin to see all that you can be a part of. This fall, our Mission Vision Covenant team will host another series of gatherings to work on the mission objectives that will guide us for the next few years. You can find information about these discernment meetings, including the dates, on the front page of the Connect. Our first gathering was an overwhelming success. I understand there was ice cream, but there's not ice cream at the next one, is that right? Oh, it's brown bag, so bring your own ice cream. BYOI. Okay, all right. Please make plans to attend these meetings. And very importantly, the November 18th church-wide meeting where we will determine our mission objectives. It's gonna happen. All of us have an idea of what we want this congregation to be. That is to say, we each have a vision for this congregation. And believe it or not, our many visions are not all the same. These meetings, though, will help us align our many visions into a shared vision, reduce conflict by having a shared purpose, and fuse our energy and gifts to enhance the life of this congregation for all of us. Please come. We want to hear from you. Thank you so much for making this a place of care and kindness for every one of us. Thank you for making this a place of joy.
It was a multiform, wondrous vision. Everywhere was boundless divinity, containing all astonishing things. If the light of 1,000 suns were to rise in the sky at once, it would be like the light of the Great Spirit. Bhagavad Gita 11:9-13.
Hello, if y'all would rise as you're willing and able and turn to page number 92 in your gray hymnal. Aaron's going to play this through once because we don't sing this very often. So. Mysterious presence, source of all, the world without, the soul within, thou fount of life, oh hear our call, and pour the living waters in. Thou breathest in the rushing wind, thy spirit stirs in leaf and flower, nor wilt thou from the willing mind withhold thy light and love and power. Thy hand unseen to accents clear awoke the song's trembling lyre, and touched the lips of holy seer with flame from thine own altar fire. That touch divine, a quickening part, still give the prophets burning word. Then vocal in each waiting heart, and living songs of praise be heard. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning. My name is Paula Swaney, and I'll be serving as your worship associate this morning. Most weeks during our service, we take some time to reflect on the joys and sorrows that belong to each of us. And then we share those with each other symbolically by placing a stone or a shell in the water of our rippling bowl. Those stones and shells create the symbolic ripples in the water that reflect how our individual joys and concerns ripple out among us in this church and this community. This week, we celebrate a symbolic return to each other with our water communion, and we'll bring together the waters of our community. Some of us will bring forward water that symbolizes the places, people, moments, and traditions that sustain us. Some will bring forward the water that symbolizes the things that have changed us in some way or another. Some will bring forward water that represents healing. Some of us will bring forward water that represents things that we're not ready or able to vocalize just yet. And together, we'll create a mixture of water that reflects our shared experience and existence. That water will reflect our diversity, our individual selves, and our desire to gather together. It'll represent the water that our joys and concerns will ripple through for the next year. Please come forward and add your water to the rippling bowl at the front of the sanctuary. And if you didn't bring any water with you this morning, there's several containers here for you to use to represent whatever you would like to share. And if you join us today with a joy or sorrow that you'd like to release into the community, the shells and stones are available for you to add to the bowl as well. I'll add some water for those who are joining us virtually.
Water is wide, I can't cross over, and neither have I wings to fly. Will be a boat that can carry two, and both shall roll, my love and I. There is a ship, and she sails to sea. She's loaded deep, as deep can be, but not so deep as the love I'm in. I know not how I sink or swim, and love is handsome, and love is fine, the sweetest flower when first it's new. But love grows old and waxes cold and fades away like summer dew. Build me a boat that can carry two, and both shall roll. My loving God, and both shall roll. My loving God. Build me a boat that can carry two, and both shall roll. My loving God, and both shall roll. My loving God.
And just as our shared water reflects our desire to be together, our covenant reflects how we desire to be together. Please join me in the reading of our covenant. We are a people of faith and hope. Together we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. And now we'll take a few moments to greet each other. Please be respectful of others' boundaries and how they would like to be greeted, and let the joyful celebration begin. When you hear the music, please return to your seats so that we can move to the next part of our service.
So I'd like to invite the children to come forward, the youth, the adults. This is a time for all ages. So anyone who would like to come up may sit in the front row or may sit on the floor here in front of me. There we go, see? All ages. Well, good morning. So I have this thing across my neck, and I'm wondering how many of you know what a water bearer is? Anybody have any idea? Well, let me tell you what a water bearer is. There's lots of places in the world where you can't just go run to the sink and turn the faucet and have water come out. There's many places in the world that don't have running water like that in their homes, and there are people in small villages that literally have to go and fetch their water in pots like I have here every day, and maybe sometimes many times a day, to get enough water for their families to cook with, to bathe, to clean things, whatever it might be, and of course is their drinking water. So, and I'm going to set this down, and these are not even loaded, so, and it's a little bit awkward, but they get used to carrying this when they go back and forth to get their water. So today's story is about a water bearer. And he was the oldest child in his family. He was about 13 or 14 years old. And every day he would go back and forth. He lived up the hill, and the stream that he would get the water from was down the hill from him. And it would be several times a day that he would have to go, back and forth, and he would carry the 2 pots with him. And then one day, one of the pots decided to talk to the water bearer. And he said, "You know what? I'm kind of ashamed because I have this giant crack in one side of me, and the other pot is perfect. And every time you carry water back up the hill, the other pot is carrying the full load, and I'm not. I'm only carrying part of it, and a lot of my water leaks out." Well, the water bearer was very kind to the pot, and he said back, "Well, I kind of know that. It's okay. We're just going to keep going back and forth like we do. And the next time we go down the path, I want you to notice that there's a bunch of flowers along the path and how beautiful they are." So they did that, and they went the next day in their usual route and went up and down. And the pot did notice, and he said, "Wow, those are really beautiful flowers. There's sunlight on them, and they're all different colors." And they got back to the top of the hill, though, and he was still kind of sad. And he told the water bearer, "I saw the flowers, but I still don't feel like I'm doing my part. I don't understand why you're using me when I have this big crack in my side." So the water bearer said to him, "Well, I'm glad you noticed the flowers. Do you know how they got there? It's because when we would go back and forth up and down the path, I carried flower seeds in my pocket. And I threw them along the path, and then every time we would walk up and down from the stream, you would be watering those flowers. And I can take those flowers every single day back to my family to have some beauty in my house." And then he finished by telling the cracked bucket this: "We all have our own unique flaws. We're all cracked pots. And God's great web of life, nothing goes to waste. Don't be afraid of your flaws. Acknowledge them, and you too can be the cause of beauty. Know that in our weakness, sometimes we find our strength." So I'm wondering if a couple of you can tell me something you think you're really good at, something you're really proud of. Anything? Yeah, Olivia. I'm sorry? Way too much about space, you said? Okay. But that's something you're interested in and that you like, right? Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, Ella Jane? Climbing, you said? Good. You're really good at that. Okay. Anybody else have anything? How about something, and adults can shout out too, that's fine. How about something you think you might need to improve a little bit about yourself? We all have flaws. Maybe not getting angry sometimes, maybe being more patient sometimes. I think we can all use some of that. Listening better. Those are all things we can do. So let me ask you this. No matter what you're good at, no matter what you think your flaws might be, what are some things you can do, like the water bearer did with the flower garden, to make the world a more beautiful place? Yeah. Watering plants, helping the plants grow, because those add a lot of beauty, don't they? Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. It could be either one. The question was making the earth more beautiful or just some way you can help out, because all of those things add beauty. Is there something you want to add? You can think of? You don't have to answer right now, but you can think about that, about ways that no matter what you think you're good at, some ways you can make the world a more beautiful place. Okay? So everybody can go back to your seats with your parents, and we'll go on with the rest of our service.
Each week, we build our community together, and we each share our own gifts, gifts of time, gifts of service, gifts of love, and now we will share our financial gifts as we are able. As the plate passes, even if you're not putting anything into it, please take it with both hands and know that being here is enough. Thank you.
Join me in silence. We're speaking this month about transcendent experience, the request of Dr. Otis Bauman. Otis taught a class this morning, the first of 4. They'll happen on the second Sunday of each month. I want to urge you to come on the second Sunday of October to hear the second installment of this class. The class is on psychedelics, transcendence, and healing. Otis is a medical doctor who's done a lot of research into this. The conversation was evocative and rich. It is a kind of conversation that overruns borders and draws up polarities, the binaries that shape our minds and our lives, and pushes us in those. That happened in the discussion today, and we almost broke through some of those polarities. So I want to urge you to come and engage in this rich conversation. Let Otis push us, and let us push him, so that we push each other into these ways of thinking that are not entrapped in what we've received, but that find wisdom across all of those differences. I urge you to come. This is worth seeking. Bring to mind the ocean. Imagine yourself right on the edge of the ocean looking out over that expanse. And now imagine the car ride that got you there. I don't know if you've ever been to the ocean. If you haven't, bring to mind what you know of it. But if you have, think about the drive that it takes to get there. Especially if you're in a family car traveling with other people. Why do you laugh? What makes you laugh at that? Now you laugh even harder without an answer. What makes you laugh? What is it like to drive to the ocean with company in the car? Kids, parents, whomever. People shaking their heads. There's some unspoken wisdom here. Well, I'll tell you what it's like for me so you don't disclose what it's like for you. Sometimes it's hell, right? It can be I apologize, parents. It can be very challenging. And whatever happens along the way, however many stops are needed, however much coffee is consumed, all of these things, more coffee, more stops. When I arrive at the beach with the people that I love most in my life, I often say, I just need a minute to go look at the ocean. Have you ever felt that or known someone to say that? It's curious, isn't it? What would it be about an enormous saline quantity of water that would help me calm down after a harrowing car ride with the people that I love most in the world? It's curious. Bring to mind the ocean. standing there at its edge. It may be beautiful, those rolling waves, gentle in the surf. But this is not a benign presence. There is unfathomable depth and danger, storms that are churning even now on our seas, places inhospitable to our life. And yet that sound and the smell, the wash of water over us, and think of what you feel when you stand before the ocean, what you feel within yourself. Not only what your mind perceives, but what moves in your chest, in your body. For me, it is strange. It is calm and restlessness at the same time. Desire to be still, just there, and to plunge in and swim out beyond reason. This place of life and death, peace and storm, thriving and inhospitality, calm and restlessness, that I not only see before me or feel against me, but that wells up and churns inside of me. And all I want is to be there. I'm not sure I want to endure a 4.5-hour car ride with some of you, but I would be willing to get in the car right now and go. To just stand there again. So beautiful and filling. Tat Dvam Asi. It's so strange to feel the ocean inside of me while I behold it. But there is also a logic to that feeling. My body, majority of which is of the same substance as that body before me. Water encountering water. And when we stand on the shores of our seas, we are looking into that place from which we came, the origins of our life, from which our ancestors emerged in time beyond reckoning. This is the source of our life. And there is something about it, even in its danger, that is a homecoming and a stilling. Tat Tavam Asi, thou art that. We stand at the ocean, we are seeing something vast and beyond us that our minds will never fully comprehend, but with which our being deeply resonates. That is us, the origin of our life and the source of our being, to which we've returned and in which we find renewal of being. In the Bhagavad Gita, a prince looks into the face of his servant, his charioteer, and sees the face of God Almighty in innumerable forms, God beyond God, unto no God, being and non-being in one, just in the face of that one person, reality exploding into a reality beyond reckoning. And he feels within himself total chaos and surrender and resolution and peace, both things at the same time. And all he wants is to be there with that. Existence and non-existence, moving between his companion and himself. Energy and rest all at once. Thou art that. I remember the first time I really saw my wife. I had known her for years before. I knew that she was beautiful. I knew that she was brilliant. I knew that she was good. But I remember this moment when my mind shattered and I saw her in brilliance and beauty beyond reckoning. And I felt in myself turmoil. We call it love. A feeling that in this person, I might find fulfillment and expansion of my life, and also displacement of my life. That partnership with this person would mean that I was no longer the center of the universe, that universe would be shared. And if we were to have children, both of our lives would expand in importance because their lives would be more important than ours. This strange paradox of life becoming more important because other life is of even greater importance. Finding life by losing it all at once, and that rippling out of love. And then just the sheer terror that she might not like me. And all this that I was feeling inside might be chasing through eternity after what I could never connect with. And all I wanted was to be in her presence, to be with her. And you might say, listen, it's just hormones. And I would say, yes, the flowing streams of energy in us reaching out to connect with that which is also us. Tat Tvam Asi, thou art that, finding in the face of another something beyond us and inside of us all at once. My friends, there are innumerable paths into the transcendent. Love, sex, music, the beautiful world around us, the sublime. All of these paths of caring and generosity, of goodness and giving, whatever is noble, whatever is true, whatever is pure, whatever is beautiful, whatever connects you with something so vast and beyond yourself that it churns within you life and death at once, and all you want to do is be with it. Think about this thing. So many streams from so many springs, running down the hills of our world, pulled by a force of gravity, moving over land, cutting channels, merging with other streams, converging, slowing and deepening, widening, tearing banks, pulling trees into its sweep, pulling all that is our filth and our brokenness and our garbage and our lives with it into the opening mouth of the ocean. All things pouring back to this source. Tat Tvam Asi. Thou art that. Beyond all words. Whatever path of reason or intuition, of service, pursuit, of love, or loneliness, whatever path pulls you. Go.
Please stand as you're willing and able as we sing hymn number 123, and we'll sing it through twice. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
From an interview by Bill Moyers with the scholar of comparative religion, Joseph Campbell, reflecting on transcendent. He who thinks he knows doesn't know. He who knows that he doesn't know knows. There's an old story that is still good, the story of the quest. The spiritual quest, this is to essay, to find the inward thing that you basically are. All of these symbols in mythology refer to you. You are God in your deepest identity. You are one with transcendent.
What is it about the ocean that we would inflict those drives on ourselves at the cost of thousands of dollars to stand tat tavam asi before that? What is that? Not is or is not, no name and not no name. What is that? Whatever churns in you existence and non-existence, life and death, expansion and giving over to other life, whatever it is, a lover, a God, a child, a sea, tat tvam asi, self calling to self. Go.
have spent time together, and these